discontentment that I believe in. I'm pursuing a career that I totally am passionate about, serving people. Feel like is being blessed and honored by God, and living out and being used by God in the way that I feel like He's calling me to, and living that out and pouring my life into those around me and allowing them to pour their life into me. But yet, in the midst of that, there's been a certain discontent. And while I was in Concord, it was very easy just to point at and blame certain circumstances for that discontent. But as I have been here the past, not quite 2 years, I have grown so much. Hearing your story, learning from that, refocusing, the refocus team, the ministries, being a part of a community that gives so much. I have grown tremendously. Working with the staff that is very passionate about serving God and being relevant in our community. Sharing that vision with a body that very much is agreement with that and wants to be relevant to the community around them and pour their lives into people. We have a youth center that is crazy. I mean, it's awesome. And watching the kids come in there, the teens that, I guarantee you, a lot of the teens that we're getting have never set foot into a church. It's amazing. It's already paying off. It's already making a difference in the lives of teens. We have a kids zone that kids are just bouncing off the walls and they love to be in. And I've heard that, wow, we must have the coolest church room in the state, in the country. And they feel loved. And I've been given the freedom to live out my faith in an authentic way. And been given the freedom to minister in the way that I feel God has called me to minister. This is an ideal place to be. But I still have a discontentment in my heart. I've been sharing with you guys, a lot of times I have the opportunity to speak and to talk. And I have shared with the teens on this topic a lot about just the life of Christ and what He poured His life into. And through the Bible, it's very consistent. God tells us over and over and over that in serving me, feed the poor, clothe the naked, take care of the widows and the orphan, visit the imprisoned, and fight for justice. And each one of us has to decide in our own life, what does that mean to me? How do I play a role in that? And as I search that and seek that, I have a very strong passion, and it's grown intense since I've been here. Due to my own spiritual growth that you guys were very much a part of. Seeing the growth in the spiritual walk of our teens and our children played a big part of that. I've come to realize that the passion I have, that the intensity is leaning in it, taking me in a new direction. Where more of it is a literal form of feeding the poor, clothing the naked, fighting for justice, fathering the orphan, taking care of the widows, and visiting them in prison. I feel a strong passion and a sense of urgency to go and fight for those that no one cares about. That they don't have a community, that the ones that fall through the cracks. Right now, Anna Lynn and I, we're working on a transition in our life that's going to take effect in July 8th. That'll be the last Sunday that we're going to be here. And that's pretty hard to say. For the last 10, 15 years, my calling has been very real to me that in youth ministry, youth and family, student ministry, to the point where everywhere I've been, I've worked in the church. I went to school, got a degree, districts where students have to be there, where it's hard to find good teachers that care about them. It's in an area that it's hard to find anybody that really cares about them. So I'm looking at moving in the inner city, the Kansas City area, and working in a school district that I'm looking at one that my wife taught at for a year. And every time I went to bring lunch to her, it was heartbreaking to watch kids being a junior higher, a 6th and 7th grader getting handcuffed and taken out to a police car. That kind of situation. I also want to get involved with the rescue mission and be active in my community with handing out food on a regular basis and being a part of that. And not that I can't do that here, because we can. But target a place that people, they don't have that support system. They're considered unservable, unlovable. We've talked a lot in Refocus meeting about trying not to, we're not focusing on building the church, but building the kingdom. And so I consider myself very much still a part of this church, but sent out to another location to build the kingdom, because that's what we're all here for. That's what we're called to do. And each one of us has to ask ourselves how we fit into that and what that means to us. But I want to tell you that I'm going to miss so much the relationships of those that I have built. We have the best children. I mean, watching them, they always amaze me. Our teens are unbelievable. They are very incredible students. And if you sit down and you hear their story and hear what they're doing, incredible. And that's one reason why it's so